Floyd Mayweather wants Olympic-style drug testing for his bout with Manny Pacquiao in March. And Pacquiao is only agreeing to a point. Pacquiao says he will do blood testing, but not random blood testing, and nothing just before the fight, only after the fight. Pacquiao's promoter, Bob Arum, says he's willing to walk away from the richest fight in boxing history, telling the Grand Rapids Press, "What I believe is that Floyd never really wanted the fight, and this is just harassment of Pacquiao. He knew that Manny gets freaked out when his blood gets taken and feels that it weakens him. This is just harassment, and to me, just signaled that he didn't want the fight." All right, joining us now is ESPN.com boxing writer Dan Rayfield. Dan, you cover fight negotiations year-round, every week. The posturing, some fall through, most go through and happen. How much of this, given your experience, is actually jeopardizing the fight, and how much is negotiation?
Well, there's no question, Brian, that the fight definitely is in jeopardy. But that said, there's about 200 million reasons why they're going to make a deal, because there's so much money at stake in this fight that it'd be absolutely ridiculous for them not to do it. I think both fighters realize that. And if they think that they have other options, newsflash, they're wrong. There are no other options where they can make even remotely the kind of money. When I hear Bob Arum talk about, well, we won't do this fight, we'll go explore a third fight with Juan Manuel Marquez, who just got beat down by Mayweather and lost, or we'll go fight Paulie Malignaggi, who's a good fighter, of course, but, you know, not like a Manny Pacquiao-Floyd Mayweather matchup, or some other fighter that he would want to put Manny in with. I mean, it's just absurd. They are trying behind the scenes to negotiate a protocol of the drug testing, and at the end of the day, I think this fight's going to get done, but it's been a real pain in the neck the last couple of days.
You know, it's amazing, Dan, because Floyd seems to have the high ground on this because he wants more testing, and I think that rings very true to a lot of fans out there today. What specifically is Pacquiao balking at?
Well, what they're balking at, and part of it is Manny and part of it is Freddie Roach, his trainer, they want to know specifically when's the cutoff date for testing. If they go by the USADA testing regulations, they can be tested starting 10 weeks prior to the fight, or basically when the kickoff press conference would take place, which would be in the first week of January, on a random basis from then until literally the day of the fight and right after the fight. They're okay with doing a certain element of testing. Bob has said they'll do at least 3 tests, one at the fight week kickoff, the press conference kickoff, one a month before, 30 days out, and then one in the dressing room immediately following the fight. I believe that on the Pacquiao side, in another part of that camp, Freddie Roach and some other folks that are with Pacquiao, they would be willing to do more testing than just those 3 tests, but they want to know that there will be a cutoff, whether it's 48 hours before the fight, 72 hours before the fight. And so right now there's discussion back and forth. Will USADA put that in writing? Because typically they don't. They have their policy of how they do it, and if you don't like it, then too bad. They don't alter what it is. They need to figure out if they're able to do that. If they can come up with a timetable where they will stop the testing to allow Pacquiao not to have to give his blood, and by the same token, Mayweather, because he'll be under the same exact situation, then I think they're going to get it worked out. That's what's taking place behind the scenes right now.
Okay.
And I think it's going to get worked out.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like, they did not have, Dan, protracted negotiations on this. It came together very quickly. We thought initially it would be May, then it became March. So you're thinking they would not walk away from what could be the biggest pay-per-view of all time. That's what you're thinking.
Brian, I've known Bob Arum for like 10 years, okay? There's probably, on their side alone, after all the expenses are paid, after the cable operators and satellite dish operators are paid, you're talking about maybe a pot of like $50 million. And Bob's a smart guy, and Bob's already rich, but he could always use another $10 million in his pocket.
All right. Dan Rayfield, ESPN.com boxing writer. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Brian. See you in Bristol January 8th for the season premiere of Friday Night Fights, baby.
Yes, January 8th. Oh, he just threw that in.
Yes, he did.
I didn't make it.
Nice work.
Here's the tail of the tape if it does happen. Mayweather, a perfect 40-0, and that O means a lot to him. Pacquiao, 53-2 on a historic run, titles in 7 divisions spanning 9 weight classes. Mayweather, the advantage in height and reach. It'll be fought, if it is fought. It seems like it's going to be fought. March 13th, MGM Grand in Las Vegas.